What to do if your partner won't move forward. Trying too hard versus laying off a bit.
I'm Cass.
And I'm Kathryn.
Transactioning versus submission. This is going to piss some people off today. How we got here versus how to move forward.
So it should be gratitude and love if it's not desire.
We're MorrowMarriage.
Let's flip divorce statistics with the new marriage.
Welcome to the MorrowMarriage podcast, guys. And today, man, I'm going to hit some of you guys right in the gut. What to do if your partner won't move forward. Okay, I'm bringing this up for a number of reasons. I'm thinking of some men in the program, and I'm also thinking about the amount of women that DM me, because if you don't know, I have a massive following on Facebook, which is women wanting their husbands to learn from me, okay? And so I'm going to start with that first. The amount of requests, we do this whole thing, DM your phone number, and then, get on a call with me, okay? Let's see what we can do. If we can help, we can move you forward. And so a lot of women just drop their husband's phone number. We have to always clarify, by the way. So please clarify for us if you're ever listening to this episode and you're sending your number, because it's really like an extra step to be like, is this your number, Rachel, or is this your husband's number? And what's his name if it is? And does he know I'm calling?
Yeah, we don't cold call you guys.
We can't just cold call some asshole who's mad because he's not moving forward. Okay. And so, and not always is he an asshole, but typically if he's not moving forward, we're probably going to suggest, okay, what to do if your partner moves forward. Well, let's first address these women. So like what I'm telling you to do, by Disrupting Divorce, my book, okay, Kathryn clearly wrote a section here that says bookmark your favorite chapter, put it out on the nightstand or on the kitchen counter or whatever, because it says Disrupting Divorce, the new man, saving, struggling, sexless, and toxic marriages. You may not be on the verge of divorce yet, but at some point, you're already thinking about, should I? Will I live like this forever? This sends a clear message, That's step one. Step two, listen to this podcast in front of them. Okay, I'm talking to women right now for a second, but men, we can do the same thing. You can put the book out, okay? And maybe she'll see you read it, maybe she won't. I tell you how to do it and how to handle it all in the book, okay? But you can both, either of you, listening to with your partner around who's not on board. Why? Well, if I came at Kathryn back in the day, I'd probably be like, what the fuck you listening to? What's this fucking guy saying? Blah, 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 bitch. Right? And if Kathryn used the skills that she has today, she would say something like, oh, babe, I can see why you think that for sure. He is a character. Whew. But no, I really enjoy learning from Kathryn about how to be a woman and a wife. I love you. Anyways, I'm going to keep listening. What can he say? What can he say? You talk about being better and learning to be better. You didn't blame. Like, if your partner doesn't move forward, there are things you can do. Don't just send them a reel. Just don't. You
are just asking for a fight. If you just send, especially one of my husband's reels, unannounced. Oh, come on, you guys. I actually hate when someone's like, I send my husband these reels all the time. You're just going to make him angry.
It's passive aggressive.
It's so passive aggressive, and it's going to upset your husband. He's going to take offense to it because my husband is offensive, and he's not going to be ready to hear it, especially when you just sent it. It's an attack when you send it.
That's right. Now, sticking with women, the next thing you'd want to do is go to Kathryn Morrow online on Instagram and reach out to my wife. If your partner won't move forward, listen, it's no secret. It's mostly men that join our programs, like my program. And the lesser percentage would be women joining Kathryn's. Why? Because their husband isn't on board, okay? Now, why does that work? Go back to the other episode where Kathryn talked about, sure, okay, so I grew a lot. It wasn't enough for Kathryn, but when Kathryn shone the light on herself, change started to really happen. That's when we both started to climb a little bit off kilter until we finally met up at the top, okay? That's how powerful it is.
Off kilter.
Off kilter.
I just thought it was funny.
So if your partner's not on board, that's how you do it. If you're a woman, you get moving or leave. That's your last step. And I know that you just can't necessarily leave. It could be finances, could be worried about the kids being with your husband.
But if you're not going to leave, do something.
That's right.
Don't sit stagnant. That's the worst thing that you can do, because we just talked about enabling. You're enabling the behavior. At least stop the enabling. Figure out what you can do to strengthen yourself. You might not want to leave. You might not be able to leave. You might not be able to influence your partner very easily, but you can do something to improve where you are, to improve the lives of your children. And hopefully, ultimately, you're role modeling behavior for your husband, or you're learning how to not engage in some of the emotional abuse and the narcissism, gaslighting, some of the things that your partner throws at you that are unhealthy. You'll learn at least how to stand up for yourself, and not in a way that's going to push you into a cycle of attack defend, in a way that just allows you to disconnect from it without disconnecting from your partner. You can disconnect from the BS without disconnecting from the person. You can compartmentalize your partner's problems without, severing the bond between you, if there's even any bond left. Do you think that it's fun having my husband have struggles with narcissism? It isn't. It's not a picnic, is it, honey?
Not fun?
It's not fun. But you know what? I'm not married to a narcissist. I'm married to a man who struggles with narcissism. I'm married to the man. I'm not married to the narcissism. And so if you can disconnect that, it's like when I talk to my wives who are married to an alcoholic. If you're not leaving, you're going to continue to be married to an alcoholic. So do you want to be married to the man, or do you want to be married to the disease? Divide that, because the man you love, you don't like the behaviors and you don't like the habits, you don't like the addiction. Can you please separate them and start focusing on the person while focusing on yourself? How do you connect with the person while disconnecting from the part that you don't like?
And this is so important, because when I talk about then fine, just leave, because what happens? We get a rock bottom, okay? But here's the problem with that. Yes, on one side, that's great. Now your husband wants to see my content. Now your husband wants to get in my course and just wants to learn. We have a guy right now who's doing incredible because he hit a rock bottom. It was a restraining order, okay? But here's the thing. That doesn't always work. Why? Rewind the episode and listen to everything that Kathryn just talked about. Because everybody on the planet should realize who they're married to. It's not the disease. It's not the new fucking attachment style that you just Googled. It's not the fucking alcohol. It's nothing. That's just all how we cope, how we address things, how we try to learn so we can justify not growing ourselves so we can blame our partner. That's not moving you forward. So go back to get the divorce. Mm-hmm. Like, this is why we feel so strongly about this, because if you can just click, there is no divorce. That rock bottom doesn't always work. It doesn't. Men, I want to address you. Simple. Your wife might not be on board. Oh, I want to say one more thing, because this is for both too. Okay. Please do something without having the affair. For goodness sakes. Like, I know a lot of you have heard us talk about the affair and, taking responsibility for the 23 things before the physical affair happened, when you're the victim, etc. But at the end of the day, if you're listening and you're thinking about that validation, you're thinking about, do something different, because that's not doing it. Like, be an adult. I realize you're hurting. I realize there's all these mistakes, all these things that happen to you, but be an adult. Okay. Make a better choice. You're responsible for your choices. You have a choice. We've talked about that on all the episodes we filmed today. Okay. Men, if your wife is not on board, she's not following, she's out cheating, whatever it is, it's everything that Kathryn said. There's one difference. Every single man that comes to my program, your wife is looking down on you. You have lifted her up for so long and then ripped the rug out from the pedestal. You have loved her. You have not loved her. You have blamed her. You have loved her. You have said, I'm going to take responsibility. You have done all of these things. This is every man that comes to me. Okay? If that's the case, then you don't ask for permission. I'm not saying beg for forgiveness. Don't ask for permission to grow. This is man or woman. Never ask for permission to grow. If that means you need to go on YouTube for free, get a good resource and learn, fine.
Like you're doing right now.
Like you're doing right now, okay? If that means that you have to go sell some shit or take from savings or just take your big fat paycheck and buy a program and move forward, you don't ask, you just do. Because your wife is looking down on you. She probably won't agree. She either doesn't believe your changes. She doesn't think you're going to follow through. She'll think it's a waste of time or a waste of money or both. And so if your partner won't follow, then just grow. Grow to the point where you're so valuable. I love the expression. She'd be crazy to miss out with me. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's her words. Okay? You both can do this, man or woman. I get that it's tough sometimes financially. Now, I wanted to go one more place with this episode, okay? And that is when your partner won't follow and you are growing, okay? I have yet to see, no, that's not true. I have one man in 30 months, thousands of guys, okay, who I say he has the patience of every Lord put together.
Oh, I know what you're talking
There
about.
were several times I'm like, dude, it's time to motivate with a boundary. And he's like, no, nope, nope. And he decided when he was ready to motivate with a boundary, and boom, life turned around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, boom. Why? Because when your partner won't follow, typically, you haven't even attempted to do this for like even 3 months, 6 months. I dare say many men quit at a year. You've been married, pardon me, for 10 years plus, even 5 years plus. You have pretty bad trauma and damage in your relationship. And you expect peace in your home because you started to show up overnight.
Mm-hmm.
You're still making mistakes. In 3 months, you just learn everything. And by the way, we always add more. I mean, we keep adding more. I'm on version 6 of the reset. Like, excuse me. And then 3 months, I dare say, is not long enough to develop the habits, to change. Why? I know that's what they say. Okay. So maybe in the beginning of the program, you've got some skills. Now you're doing it for like 4 months and you should have changed the habits. It's feelings and personal stuff. It hurts, right? You have pain, you have wounds, you have fear gripping you, insecurity gripping you. You're not making all the right choices, man or woman. You're afraid of everything. Is it working? Are they going to come around? Will it be like this forever? Will we get divorced? Are we going to have sex again? Whatever it is. So I dare say most people just don't have the fucking patience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Kathryn, go listen to some of our other podcasts, when she talks about it, she talks about us like no one will do the work that we've done. No one will ever be able to love the way that we love because we both had to learn to be more patient, to try more, to get more done, to understand that if we're still learning, that means we could potentially never stop learning. Oh my gosh. So then how could you be impatient? Now, you could get to a point when your partner doesn't follow, like the last episode, the cake and eat it too, where you have to make some different choices. But that's a different line to cross. Almost nobody's going through that kind of level of shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like really, we've done an episode on that recently. Like, you don't know how good you've got it. Most people aren't going through as bad as you think. You just make it worse than it is. In your head, honestly. Because if we could come from where we came from, we've seen some horror stories. Oh, let's use that example of that man that we just landed in the program. His wife's been doing Kathryn's program for a fucking year. He needed a rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
He was not following her. And
No.
oh my gosh, he's doing well. And it's a restraining order, so we can't get this together just yet. But I think,
But talk about patience. She has been working with me. It was 1 year in October. So last month it was 1 year. And there were times when I was not sure where it was going to go, but she has a lot of the same values that I have. She was not going to separate and risk losing some time with her kids and risk having him raise the kids without him growing. And so she had so much patience, and we walked through so many storms together. And here we are. A year later, they are going to be
if he maintains this track right now,
I believe that he will.
I think he will.
And she definitely is, she's ready for it. She has the tools, she has the skills. She's going to be able to diffuse him now. She always has known how to diffuse, but he'll be ready to be diffused. He'll understand what she's doing now. I have no doubt that they're going to be
I'm just so excited.
One of the best success stories that we've ever seen. Yeah. Patience. If she would have given up 6 months ago, she would be divorced and he would be raising their children 50% of the time. And he was not safe to be raising their children, so something bad could have happened. Patience has not only saved her children, saved her. And at some point, she was like me. She didn't want to save her marriage. She wanted to save herself and her children because she felt so dire at times. And now the beautiful byproduct of patience and in believing in herself, believing in her family, she is getting her marriage back.
I got to hit this home. What to do if your partner won't follow. She just said this woman could not divorce her husband. Okay, Kathryn did not want to divorce me out of fear of both of us men raising these kids. Okay, in the two examples that we're using, ours and this client. Okay, you think you got your shit hard right now? Afraid for your children's life. Afraid for your own life. And she had the patience to endure. She had to learn way more fucking skills than you, no doubt. Now, some of you might be in that boat, but look, there's hope, man. There's hope. But patience, continuing to learn. This woman took advantage of every program that we've created.
Yes.
Stuff that I've done. I don't work with women, but I brought women into some of my programs. Like, you guys got to understand, she worked, she loved, she prayed, she worked some more, and she never lost her patience.
If we can do it,
Yeah.
anyone can do it. And this new story that's coming out is proof. We've seen some pretty bad situations. Hardly any of them are as bad as us. And this specific situation that is turning around after a year is hands down the worst situation that I've worked with.
That you've worked with. And here's the thing.
And it's being saved. Guys, like if that doesn't give you hope, I don't know what. And we can't give you the details. Just trust me. It was worse than ours.
Stay tuned. We'll have the I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah, we'll have them on the podcast.
I've never seen a man reflect so well, so fast. And who's this bad? Like we were talking narcissist, you know, like, so, okay. Here's the thing. What to do if your partner won't follow. The very last thing before we go is this. Who the fuck do you want to be? Did you commit? Most people quit for unwritten, unspoken vows. Oh, my partner did X, Y, and Z. Fill in the blank. That's why people quit. Nobody stays anymore for the written and spoken vows. Starting with for better or for fucking worse. Yeah. Like, you guys, get your shit together. You're not a man or a woman of integrity if you can't even follow through on a commitment. Like, with your family involved? Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Hopefully, you're inspired to do much better. I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.